Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess, bringing you day 256 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation where we use female words. This would be September 13th if you're starting at the new year. The only purpose. The real world is the state of mind in which the only purpose of the world is seen to be forgiveness. Fear is not its goal, for the escape from guilt becomes its aim. The value of forgiveness is perceived and takes the place of idols, which are sought no longer, for their gifts are not held dear. No rules are idly set, and no demands are made of anyone or anything to twist and fit into the dream of fear. Instead, there is a wish to understand all things created as they really are. And it is recognized that all things must be first forgiven and then understood. Here it is thought that understanding is acquired by attack. There it is clear that by attack is understanding lost. The folly of pursuing guilt as goal is fully recognized, and idols are not wanted there, for guilt is understood as the sole cause of pain in any form. No one is tempted by its vain appeal, for suffering and death have been perceived as things not wanted and not striven for. The possibility of freedom has been grasped and welcomed, and the means by which it can be gained can now be understood. The world becomes a place of hope, because its only purpose is to be a place where hope of happiness can be fulfilled, and no one stands outside this hope, because the world has been united in belief. The purpose of the world is one which all must share, if hope be more than just a dream. Not yet is heaven quite remembered, for the purpose of forgiveness still remains. Yet everyone is certain she will go beyond forgiveness, and she remains until it is made perfect in herself. She has no wish for anything but this, and fear has dropped away because she is united in her purpose with herself. There is a hope of happiness in her so sure and constant, she can barely stay and wait a little longer, with her feet still touching the earth. Yet is she glad to wait till every hand is joined and every heart made ready to arise and go with her. For thus is she made ready for the step in which is all forgiveness left behind. The final step is God's, because it is but God who could create a perfect child and share her motherhood with her. No one outside of heaven knows how this can be, for understanding this is heaven itself. Even the real world has a purpose still beneath creation and eternity, but fear is gone, because its purpose is forgiveness, not idolatry. And so is heaven's child prepared to be herself and to remember that the child of God knows everything her mother understands, and understands it perfectly with her. The real world still falls short of this, for this is God's own purpose. Only her, and yet completely shared and perfectly fulfilled. The real world is a state in which the mind has learned how easily do idols go when they are still perceived but wanted not, how willingly the mind can let them go when it has understood that idols are nothing and nowhere and are purposeless, for only then can guilt and sin be seen without a purpose and as meaningless. Thus is the real world's purpose gently brought into awareness, to replace the goal of sin and guilt. And all that stood between your image of yourself and what you are, forgiveness washes joyfully away. Yet God need not create her child again, that what is her be given back to her. The gap between your sister and yourself was never there, and what the child of God knew in creation she must know again. When sisters join in purpose in the world of fear, they stand already at the edge of the real world. Perhaps they still look back and think they see an idol that they want. Yet has their path been surely set away from idols toward reality. For when they joined their hands, it was Christ's hand they took, and they will look on her whose hand they behold. The face of Christ is looked upon before the mother is remembered. for she must be unremembered till her child has reached beyond forgiveness to the love of God. Yet is the love of Christ accepted first, and then will come the knowledge they are one. How light and easy is the step across the narrow boundaries of the world of fear when you have recognized whose hand you hold. Within your hand is everything you need to walk with perfect confidence away from fear forever, and go straight on and quickly reach the gate of heaven itself. For she whose hand you hold was waiting but for you to join her. Now that you have come, would she delay in showing you the way that she must walk with you? Her blessing lies on you as surely as her mother's love rests upon her. Her gratitude to you is past your understanding, for you have enabled her to rise from chains and go with you together to her mother's house. An ancient hate is passing from the world, and with it goes all hatred and all fear. Look back no longer, for what lies ahead is all you ever wanted in your heart. Give up the world, but not to sacrifice. You never wanted it. What happiness have you sought here that did not bring you pain? What moment of content has not been bought at fearful price in coins of suffering? Joy has no cost. It is your sacred right. And what you pay for is not happiness. Be speeded on your way by honesty, and let not your experiences here deceive in retrospect. They were not free from bitter cost and joyless consequence. Do not look back, except in honesty, and when an idol tempts you, think of this. There was never a time an idol brought you anything except the gift of guilt. Not one was bought except at cost of pain, nor was it ever paid by you alone. Be merciful unto your sister then, and do not choose an idol thoughtlessly, remembering that she will pay the cost as well as you, for she will be delayed when you look back, and you will not perceive whose loving hand you hold. Look forward then, in confidence, walk with a happy heart that beats in hope and does not pound in fear. The will of God forever lies in those whose hands are joined. Until they joined, they thought she was their enemy, but when they joined and shared a purpose, they were free to learn their will is one, and thus the will of God must reach to their awareness, nor can they forget for long that it is but their own. Today's text reading speaks of the real world, which I call paradise, where we are no longer seeking for idols, and see the only purpose of the world is forgiveness. It says that in this state no rules are idly set. I assume that means that we don't have a consensus reality where we believe in limitations. It says no demands are made of anyone or anything, which is really beautiful. We have learned to truly respect the free will of all of our other selves and allow them to explore and discover at their own pace and their own speed, offering what help is asked for, but not pressing ourselves on them unwantedly without their invitation, kind of the way the Holy Spirit is with us. It says that we, in this place of paradise, just wish to understand, and we get it, that we can't understand anything until we've forgiven it. In this world, the ego seeks to attack something to understand it, kind of the way, school children are made to dissect a frog in school in order to see its innards. That's not God's way of understanding. God's way of understanding would perceive the frog alive and perceive absolutely everything about it without having to kill it and take it apart. So anything we do to judge and attack, judge, criticize, these things push understanding impossibly far away from us, such that we could never hope to understand, not without perfect love and forgiveness. It says that while we are in this state of paradise, the purpose of forgiveness still remains. And I imagine that is because there are still shards of God that have not chosen to forgive, have not yet chosen to relinquish idols, have not yet chosen to wake up and come home. And those that are in a state of paradise are still dedicated to reaching out in any way that does not infringe on the sovereignty and the free will of others, to reach out with support and help that is asked for, and to ever invite all to forgive. And in so doing, those beings that are, yes, in a state of paradise, deepen their own sense of forgiveness. because it is in offering it to others and inviting others to embrace it that we fully deepen our understanding of it. After all, every part of the creation is one with us. If there is any part that still believes that they can gain by attack, gain by defensiveness, by seeking to pursue separate interests, they're a part of us. They are an unforgiven part of us. That's what we're waking up to. It says that everyone in paradise is certain that she will go beyond forgiveness. So there is a great sense of hope. It says that in this state of paradise, fear has dropped away because we are in alignment with ourselves. We are not at war within ourselves anymore. No more split allegiance. We are committed to our path. Specifically, it says she is united in purpose with herself. It speaks of a state of delicious impatience where her feet can barely touch the earth and she can barely stick around, but she is glad to stick around and help her other selves. Remember, paradise still has form. It is not yet the formless. It's just a very refined version of form that is devoid of sorrows, except for any sorrow that comes along with being sorry for the pain of our other selves that we are reaching out to and helping. It says that in this process of reaching out to her sister and continuing to deepen her own understanding of forgiveness is her own soul being readied for the time when she will leave forgiveness behind and go beyond it, to go home to heaven where no forgiveness is needed any longer. It reiterates that the purpose of the real world, or paradise, again, is beneath heaven and eternity. It makes that distinction. It describes paradise as a state where it is perceived how easily idols fade when they are perceived, yes, but not wanted. They just poof, go away. It says when sisters join in purpose in the world of fear, they stand already at the edge of the real world. They are at the threshold of paradise. Truly, relationships are the most precious thing. They are the things to be sought for. Loving, connected relationships, full of forgiveness and understanding. Just as the real world, paradise, exists on a plane beneath heaven and eternity, so it speaks of looking upon the face of Christ, which is the unified one child of God. All the creation is one. So is that described as being beneath, not quite to the level of remembering the mother and joining and being one with her again. So it is a step to be taken first. There is an interesting phrase here that says, what is paid for is not happiness. How many of us have come to believe that happiness is a thing that we earn, a thing that we don't get to have until something else has been achieved? A Course in Miracles teaches us that joy is our natural state, our birthright that we sold for a mess of pottage, to reference the Old Testament story. This text offers a reminder to those even who are in that state of paradise to not be tempted to look backwards towards idols, because doing so not only causes harm to the one looking back, but it delays your sister as well. We are reminded again and again in A Course in Miracles that nothing we do affects us alone. Every choice we make affects all of the creation. We are saved together or not at all. If we do something that hurts ourselves, it hurts everybody. The will of God forever lies in those whose hands are joined. I love that. After reviewing what is sin found in the show notes, we go on to lesson 256. God is the only goal I have today. The way to God is through forgiveness here. There is no other way. If sin had not been cherished by the mind, what need would there have been to find the way to where you are? Who would still be uncertain? Who could be unsure of who she is? And who would yet remain asleep in heavy clouds of doubt about the holiness of her whom God created sinless? Here we can but dream. But we can dream we have forgiven her in whom all sin remains impossible. And it is this we choose to dream today. God is our goal. Forgiveness is the means by which our minds return to her at last. And so, our Mother, we would come to you in your appointed way. We have no goal except to hear your voice and find the way your sacred word has pointed out to us. That is our lesson for the day. Happy practicing.